The cuttlefish, beneath the waves of San Simón Bay. Well, Professor Aronnax, we're actually in the Bay of Vigo, and all that's left is for you to probe the mysteries of the place. Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The Bay of San Simón is located deep inside the Rio de Vigo, protected by its namesake island, also known as the Island of Thoughts. The island of San Simón is steeped in history and stories of Templars, pirates, and mysteries of shipwrecks. It was the main stage for the Battle of Randay and witness to many hidden treasures, worthy indeed of being depicted by Jules Verne. With a surface area of over 2,200 hectares, the bay sees the convergence of fresh water from the Verdugo-Utavan and the Alvadosa-Mercedes rivers, and salt water from the ocean. The river and seawaters nourish the bay with enormous amounts of sediment, and as such, provide extensive muddy areas in the center and sandy stretches along the coast, resulting in a very particular estuary habitat with great variations of temperature and salinity. Flora and fauna are affected by extremely variable environmental conditions. The bay is a true sediment trap. Its muddy seabed is home to rarer fauna, as well as the more common scallops and queen scallops. The green seaweed benefit from the strong currents in the bay to feed, whilst the sea orange sponge, aptly named for its orange color, can reach various meters in length. The richness and turbidity of these waters provide nourishment for fauna typical of other eras. And a lack of light means algae is scarce. The San Simón Bay is the breeding ground for salmon, eels, and lamprey. Which on a yearly basis are drawn in from the North Atlantic, are part of the great treasure hidden in the very heart of its waters. Under Captain Nemo, and alongside the divers of the Nautilus, the bay is home to another more discreet and hidden gem, the cuttlefish. Every winter, it is drawn to the bay for mating season. This particular species of invertebrates is one of the most well-known cephalopod mollusks, first to be described by Aristotle. Its body is oval-shaped and encompassed by two undulating fins. It has 8 arms with 4 rows of suckers on each, and 2 longer retractile tentacles, which it uses to capture its prey. It has a lifespan of approximately 2 years, and although a typical adult weighs around 2.5 kilograms, individual specimens have been found weighing more than 10 kilograms. An internal calcareous shell, or cuttlebone, maintains its body rigid and buoyant as it is formed by separate interior chambers filled by gas. The skin of the cuttlefish is a prodigious organ, containing cellular structures known as chromatophores, which are controlled by the nervous system and provide it with an incredible color range. Often referred to as the kings of camouflage, Besides changing color, cuttlefish can also modify the texture of their skin. The huge range of colors and textures serve as a communication system for its own and other species, and at the slightest sense of threat, it will react accordingly. Although it lacks color vision, its eyes are as complex as any vertebrate. Its W-shaped pupils dilate in low-light conditions and can reach a range of 180-degree vision. Cuttlefish are expert swimmers and masters of two different styles. They swim by undulating their lateral fins, softly contracting the siphuncle to move forwards and to search for food or a mate. But when confronted by danger, they make use of a special jet propulsion, taking in water and shooting it out strongly through the siphuncle in the opposite direction in which it needs to escape. This method allows it to flee from danger extremely quickly. It often accompanies this kind of swimming with an ejection of black ink. Not only does it irritate the eyes of any predator, but expertly clouds the water to facilitate its escape. Cuttlefish mainly feed on crustaceans, fish, and annelids, but if circumstances so demand, they may also need to prey on their own or similar smaller-sized species, also rich in protein. With the help of an incredibly developed sensorial system, they are able to detect the movement of their prey or predators and can react in a split second, even in total darkness. The cuttlefish has several hunting strategies, depending on the kind of prey. The most common is the ambush, where it lays on the seabed completely camouflaged, patiently awaiting its prey and the chance to move in closer, to reach out and grab it with its tentacles. Another method is stalking, where it swims along the seabed until it locates its prey, and then jumps them head-on. This method is also used when hunting crabs, but it approaches them from the rear side to avoid their dangerous claws. The prehensile tentacles have suckers at the ends, which are used to capture the prey and move the food into the mouth. Once caught, the prey is injected with paralyzing saliva. Inside the mouth, it has a powerful chitin beak known as a parrot beak, which it uses to crush and grind crabs and other crustaceans. A jagged tongue, or radula, is used to gather the remains of the meat ripped open by the beak. The cuttlefish has two sexes. Its reproductive period on the Galician coastline is initiated in the winter. One of its favorite habitats for laying eggs are the meadows of seagrass, or Atlantic zostera, which are of immense ecological value. Deep within the rich waters of San Simón Bay, there are extensive zostera meadows, which offer refuge and favor the reproduction, incubation, and development of cuttlefish. During the period of courtship, the male dresses up to seduce the female, adopting a whole number of guises and colors similar to that of a zebra. There are often fights over a particular female to mate, and the male cuttlefish will try to repel its competitors by displaying particular warning patterns and intimidating postures. The triumphant male moves closer to the female and repeatedly caresses her with its arms. Before clasping her head-on and ejaculating its sperm sacs, into openings surrounding the female's mouth. To lay the eggs, the female interweaves the eggs one by one onto the stalks of Zostera. She lays one egg every 3.5 minutes and can lay up to 2,000 in one reproductive period. Once the eggs are laid, male and female remain together for the rest of their lives, having just one reproductive cycle per lifespan. Certain inhabitants of the bay may at times be affected by such great reproductive activity, such as this distracted seahorse dwelling in the area. 40 days later, the eggs are hatched, and a newly born cuttlefish emerges measuring approximately 1 centimeter long. It already has the ability to hunt small fish and crustaceans, possesses a great skill for camouflage and huge ferocity. As the cuttlefish begins to grow, it gradually moves further out into the entrance of the rhea until it becomes an adult. If the small cuttlefish is able to avoid its predators, it may well return to the Zostera meadows later in life in search of a mate. Trasmaluls, or drift nets, are the most common fishing method used to capture cuttlefish, and their original name refers to their form, which is made up of 3 nets, each parallel to the other. In the past, fishermen used a method, no longer in use, known as femavros, or female decoy, where they would utilize the male kettlefish's attraction for the female as a way to capture them. The San Simón Bay is an important populated area where fishing, shellfish gathering, and marine cultivation have an enormous impact on the marine environment. 77 mussel rafts are permanently anchored to the seabed and are the breeding ground of the most popular mollusk in Galicia. The mussel rafts are like huge floating reefs with hundreds of species cohabitating the area populated by the mussel. Other bivalves, such as the clam and the common cockle, are also intensely farmed in the bay. These types of shellfish are gathered manually using nets and mattocks. However, the agitation of the seabed affects the Zostera meadows, the preferred habitat of the cuttlefish. To counteract the problem, fishermen lay down pine branches to simulate the Zostera stocks and provide habitat for the female cuttlefish to lay their eggs. Shellfish gatherers, men and women, work closely together to maintain their shellfish beds, repopulate, and take care of their fishing areas. The municipality of Redondela, popularly known as Kettlefish Town, has greatly contributed to increasing the value of this particular species of cephalopod. The fish markets and other outlets proudly display fresh cuttlefish from the bay. During the month of May, it is traditional to celebrate the Great Festival of the Cuttlefish, one of the most important in southern Galicia, and which every year attracts around 30,000 people. The renowned cuttlefish recipe contest adds to the praise bestowed upon the gastronomic and cultural potential of this coastal town, and its history so closely related to this extraordinary cephalopod mollusk. Captain Nemo invited us to delve into the secrets hidden within the Bay of Vigo. The divers of the Nautilus managed to recover some of its treasures from sunken galleons. And from among the remains of the mysterious wrecks, another great treasure continues to be hidden. The cuttlefish of Redondela.